Good afternoon to everyone watching us from the online team and the online conversations that are running on WeTalk series. This is WeTalk series, a platform that is open by young people from different professions to air out young people's opinions and include young people in the conversation surrounding social reproductive health. And we as WeTalk series, we believe in a research model where we bring young people to air out their opinions and their views, and we have vibrant panelists from different advocacy organizations to come and share and answer the questions that these young people raise. So we are a research-based form of platform, and we welcome and encourage everyone to be part of it. So to our live audience and to our audience online, we welcome you to be part of this discussion. And we had a topic on adolescent health policy, and in our discussions we discovered that there's a lot that young people really need to understand about this show. And based on the policies that are being aired out in the areas of social reproductive health, we've discovered that young people outside there do not have the information. They do not know where to get these ideas and the solutions, and they do not know who are the people behind these policies and who are the stakeholders who are working towards the realization of these policies. So in part 2 of adolescent health policy today, we came up with a panelist, and these are key people from key advocacy organizations who are working towards ensuring that young people get access to these policies, they get to understand this policy, and we have various and since this policy captures different areas of HIV, adolescent health rights, and the contraceptives, and also young people getting to know the information. We as the panelists here today, we're going to discuss and explore more, and in addition to our previous conversation, we'll pick up from where we stopped last time. So in regards to this, we discovered that predominantly Uganda's population is 47.3%, being under the age of 15 years, and 1 in every 4 Ugandans is an adolescent. So in this for this reason that we as WeTalk series, we decided to explore more and to get people who can help us understand more about what the adolescent policy is. So in this remark, we'll start our conversation with an introduction of our panelists.
My name is Jacqueline Alessi, and I'm currently just a consultant. But previously I was the Executive Director for the Ugandan Network of Young People Living with HIV.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Kiza is my name. I'm working with Adolescent Unit in Mulago, and I'm a fellow teenager. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dorothy Nandi, the Director at Adolescent Home for Autism.
We have a question that goes to Jacqueline. And our question is the adolescent health policy for everyone, including the young people living with HIV?
I would respond with a yes and a no. Because when you look at the policy itself, it's really it's big to really critically explain the young people living with HIV. It's actually not explaining specific groups. However, it is just talking about adolescents, which I think is not favorable for a young person living with HIV. However, since it's about an adolescent, I think it is something that can be useful.
So which means the policy is open, so there should be
Exactly.
guidelines that
Yeah.
young people.
Exactly.
My other question is, what is autism?
Autism is a developmental disorder that affects children in their ways of communication, in their ways of social interaction, and their behavior. So when we are talking about policy, when I hear adolescents, I'm like, what about adolescents with autism? What is going on? The way maybe the policy is going to fall, as has just mentioned. Will it favor children with autism? Has it also been indicated? Because the growing number of children with autism is on the increase. Right, currently, at Donor Center, we have actually adolescents already. How they behave, society hasn't really understood them. So it's a big challenge. So maybe coming to the medical part of it, they are handling the normal adolescents, but there has been kind of neglect to children with autism, because they are also, what can I say, they are also children who are going through the same stages, but what next? So is the policy favoring children with autism? It should be actually very clear.
So as the dinner center, are there some steps that you've taken to try and reach out to the stakeholders who are working towards the realization of the policy for them to include the children with autism?
Actually, what has happened, like maybe because this is a condition which is still unique, people haven't really understood. So this is like maybe our next goal, trying to see if it's implemented, will it also favor us?
Thank you, Dorothy.
And to add on that, I remember a few weeks back, they organized a walk for autism children or adolescents. So they are creating an awareness to the community and people to know that there is adolescents with autism. I think it will be another way forward.
Yeah, that is our big target.
Yeah. We target is creating awareness for the autism and get them to...
Because so many of them are related to mentally retarded, but they are not mad children. You know, when they actually, I read somewhere and I think they were talking about the mental retardation. But the word mental is quite big, while autism is just a condition.
Yeah, just to add on, actually one of the things I've noticed that, autism is actually referred to as mental health, especially when it comes to HIV. You would see that mental health is actually now something that is taken serious in adolescents, because it's really something that is combined with medicines and other conditions that adolescents go through. But I would really love so much that the people outside there get to know about autism and also to know about mental health, because I think if these two are clearly known by everyone outside there, I'm very sure it will be a very good catch for the adolescents, and also to understand what is required in terms of living a healthy life.
Initially, we really need to make the community aware of what autism is.
Exactly.
So that you even find that maybe the people actually confuse it also.
Yeah.
It would be hard for them to incorporate it into the community.
Even other people in the community, to identify autism and mental, really it's a challenge.
Very big challenge.
You can find you say my kid is mentally disturbed or something else, but it's autism. So you have to continue mobilizing the community and the society to know autism so that they can define.
Yeah, and the policy itself actually just mentions, I think, a part of the mental health, and it would be very, very important if it's really just like how we all agree that there's a differentiation between mental health and autism. It should come out very clearly for everyone. The policy is talking about mental health, but that is not what we need. What we actually need is to have something that
let them redefine
exactly. Just something that's outlined and differentiated.
I think that brings us to the point of really need to sensitize more and people aware, of course. Because me, especially speaking, I got to know about autism last year. So I think it's something we really need to sensitize.
Because it is everywhere.
And the more we delay, we never know the policy may be passed when this is not included. So we really need to start more on the sensitization. So that takes me to the question of what are the challenges adolescents with autism?
Now you'd find as any other normal child, because they are girls who also get into their period, but how do they behave? How are they affected? That's really a big challenge, because maybe a normal person would maybe talk, "Mommy, I'm feeling this," but an autistic child will maybe behavior-wise, just because most of them are nonverbal, so they might become aggressive. So community would what's going on? She's trying to express the pain, but we don't understand. So a few people who are maybe around these children will try to maybe relate. Maybe she's in pain. Maybe she needs this. And maybe also back maybe to the boys. They also have those moments. But when maybe somebody who is ignorant about autism would think, what's wrong with this boy? Why is he doing this ignorantly?
And the challenge of it all, having done something to do with psychology, is something actually I would say the biggest challenge would be, even besides the community and all that, the psychology part of it. However much you would so much want to help the person with such a condition. The psychosocial, this person might have already psychologically been affected, meaning that, even putting that person back on track.
Yeah, both parents and the adults.
Exactly, it becomes a little bit of a challenge. But I'm very sure that, maybe as we go on, we can talk about how to overcome such challenges.
I think it's something really necessary to
Actually, it's really something so serious, because as you see teenagers, maybe, okay, that's the word adolescent, who are like, maybe I'm supposed to bathe every day. So an autistic person is like, what's the importance of me bathing every day? So you find they also go through the same. You have to push them. So if there is nobody, one will take it on like that. It's okay, is it important for me to take a shower every day? Why?
Our next conversation, the Adolescent Health Policy also incorporates and provides provision for adolescents and people with disabilities. And based on that policy, there is also there's a plan to train enough teachers to sensitize and educate adolescents with disabilities and do regular education systems. Then there's also doing supporting community-based organizations to enhance their capabilities on reaching out to young people. In that case, do you think the Adolescent Health Policy has addressed any of the challenges?
They are trying to address some. Because once you don't involve the young people into the activities, you will not be able to know what their challenge. So they need to involve even young people in the school to consult them to know more their problems, that they can be included in the policy.
Yes. How about the addressing the social productive rights issues? Do you think the policy is relevant to address it?
Of course, with the situation around sexuality education in the country, sometimes even mentioning sexual reproductive health, just mentioning that, someone would say, are you mad? Why would you talk about sexuality? The only thing that comes in everyone's head when you talk about sexuality, sexual health, rights, and they think about sex, or not even sex, they think about homosexuality, which is actually something that is very disturbing. Especially, we know that sexual reproductive health as a package is something that should actually be appearing in every policy that is for adolescents, young people, even the mature people. Trust me, some people don't even know anything about the sexuality which we talk about. Which they know.
When I was doing the consultation, I asked someone, and he was like, what is SRA? This is someone who's about 5 years, but he's like, I don't know what SRA is. So how best, because right now I can say we the young people understand what social productive health is, but then how are we going to make our elders understand it? Because not for them they have a different perception, that there's that cultural understanding of it. So how best are we going to make them understand and know that we are not really talking badly about sexual productive health?
Yeah, just a moment as that. For me, I always come in for autism. I'm planning for the adults about children with autism.
Yeah.
How will you explain it to them?
Yeah.
Because they are growing.
Yeah.
For one with autism wouldn't mind, I'm naked, let me just walk out. You've seen me, that is all.
Yeah, I think the thing is the policy just needs to be as open as possible. Because when you talk about adolescents, all of us have been children, have been adolescents, have been young people. Some of us are even now adults. Very soon we are becoming grannies. Yeah, sometimes you can be an adult when you're not grown up. So basically, one thing you need to know is that when we talk about thinking for the adolescents, it's really something that we don't need to only think about the general. It is big. It's just more than the word adolescent. Because adolescents have really very different categories. There are those with disability, there are those with autism, there are those living with HIV, sickle cells, and all their needs, by the way, are very different.
Which means we need to categorize
exactly. Let's not limit our potential. One thing I know about Uganda is We are very good at creating such good policies. We are good.
Actually, we create them for
other countries. Here we created a policy and it was implemented in Rwanda, and they are doing it very well. So I think we still have that, we have that opportunity to still, dig into opening it up, not just, putting it together adolescents, which is okay.
Thank you very much for tuning on to WeTalk this, and we as young people in this team, we welcome you all to be part of this show, and we encourage you to tune in and send in your questions and be part of the discussion. We'll always involve you all, and we also welcome you to be in live audience.
Dorothy, I've got just a few questions about autism. What is autism? Because I've seen in Uganda right now it's on a rise, but not all know what the condition is. Some say that it's a disease, others say that it's a condition. So we want you to explain to us. At the same time, do these kids have a special clinic, or are they taken to their mental? Most people think that they are mentally disturbed. So are they taken to their mental institute, mental clinic, or do they have a special clinic?
Okay, so autism is a developmental disorder, the way somebody develops. So a child with autism may not develop like any other child, but this comes at times before birth or after birth. So many mothers are stressed. By the time you give birth to this child, there is already stress around this child that will affect the way somebody communicates, the way somebody relates with others, the way somebody behaves. I may want water. I cannot talk to you. So I'll just grab and then like, what's wrong with this mad person? That's the next word. But they are not mad. Where do they go for assessment? We refer them to pediatricians. I think for recent we have Dr. Sabrina Shaka who has come out too. At least she understands the situation, because so many people are like thinking this is a mental kind of a challenge, but it's not. So we refer them to pediatrics to do the assessment or the diagnosis.
Okay. Another question. How have you created awareness? How have you created awareness as the government intervened to help you in the creation of awareness about this condition?
So currently what is happening at Donor Center, because for me I had to set up a home in Ntinda, that is the Donor Center Home for Autism, and this was because we kept on referring children to ordinary schools, where in the ordinary schools it was like, no, these children have, a special kind of a situation which is unmanageable. Of course, when they are kind of, the way they behave, I may wish to hurt myself if I try to explain to you and you cannot really understand me, or I'll end up giving it to somebody. I want something, I may hit you or bite you. So that's how they've been rejected. So maybe the government is not yet aware, and we need to raise more awareness. So I think we had like the first walk for autism, and for me that wasn't enough. We need to do this more and more, because it's on the increase. People don't know. People think this is witchcraft. People think these are children of rich people. Maybe they've done something, that's why they are children like that. But innocently, it's not somehow related to their riches that they have a child with autism.
This issue, because even me personally I didn't know about it, and there are very many people out there who don't know about autism, and there are very many myths and misconceptions around autism. Yeah. So, for example, what programs do you have or interventions that are put there to make, apart from having the donor center of autism, because there are now different areas in Uganda, and some of these children with autism are unable to come to donor center. So what plans do you have for the future, whereby it is access, like this service can be accessed by everyone, wherever which country they are in?
Okay, I think now so far that is still something that, as like a little organization just still growing up, we need opportunities like this kind of a platform to kind of scream out and say, please come and rescue. The condition is on its peak. Maybe people come out to say, we need to hold talk shows like these ones. Maybe get to churches and talk about this. These are all our bigger plans we have.
My question,
these kids or people born with this or just comes at any age? Then another question is it curable? Can it be cured?
Actually, once again, I would say autism is not a disease. Autism is just a condition that comes about sometimes due to the environment. The environment itself can cause autism. How? You imagine a child is just in a very good posh home. The child has nobody to interact with, has nobody to relate with, so they end up having, like, they are in what we call a doom. They are inside there, everything is to themselves. Whom am I talking to? So they end up non-verbal just because of the surroundings. Compare that child to a child who is in a ghetto kind of a lifestyle or in a slum. They run to their friends, they talk to one another, so they end up getting their speech faster than these children who are in the so-called good environment.
Maybe, Dora, what's the message out there in case someone wants to find you, in case someone wants to give you funds? Where can you be found?
So, Donor Center is located in Ntinda behind Capital Shoppers. It's still just a little home. We currently have 20 children, but of course there are so many that are still like, I'm also coming. The place is still small and we need support.
Thank you very much.
Maybe just before you conclude, how would a layperson understand autism? The community out there, maybe we are using the English word, but we would need to go to the layperson's word. Abana bana basinga babayita bazonto, bakatala, bimongwa. Those are the biggest word one would relate to a child with autism. But that kind of a big word to me is not what they are.
I think a message out there to parents, especially fathers, you should try to understand the situation and you should not run away from your responsibility because they're giving birth to a child with autism. So instead they support them and have them grow and so they can grow up as responsible citizens.
You said then they shouldn't be called Zonto or Katara. So which name in the local language, as you have the autism, so which name do you use?
Okay, the ordinary word is like mwana. This is the child, like any other child. It's not because they are non-verbal that they should be called all sorts of words.
That condition, how do you call it in the local language?
In the layman's language or in our local language, it's embeera. Embeera eno is the condition. Embeera eno ejja olw'okuba omwana ali eka, olw'okuba omwana maybe yalwala omusujja abamu ne gumukosa obwongo ne yeesanga ng'obuuzi obubuleeta ebigambo nga bulabika bwakola ki bwakosebwa. That's why tugiyita embeera.
Thank you very much. Catch us every Friday at 3 p.m. at Divine Studios, Kamucha. We want to send our sincere appreciation to Divine Studios, Kamucha, for hosting us. And it's one set photos, and you're looking for people to capture your memories, to capture events. Come to Divine Studios, the photo street, and just as you see our expressions and now our show goes, it's all the works of Divine Photo Studios. So thank you very much for tuning in. See you next time.